Good afternoon. It is December 31, 2024, and it's a Tuesday. It's the last day of the year. Here in Sherbrooke, it is an unseasonably warm 4 degrees Celsius, 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Past like 3 days have been super warm. I think it got up to like 7 degrees Celsius. I have no idea what that is in Fahrenheit. Something like that. It was pretty crazy. And so all the snow melted. It was got pretty cold before that, like the negative 14, negative 15 degrees Celsius range. And now it's just been like super warm, rainy though. Past couple days have been okay, but like 2 days ago it was like super rainy, which I would have gotten into had I put out a weather report in the past like month. I think it's been like a month. Sorry. The sun this morning rose at, wait, I have to get this. This wasn't used like the AccuWeather interface anymore. 7:27 a.m. It will set at 4:15 p.m., which is still fucking crazy that the sun sets at 4:15 p.m. That's 8 hours and 48 minutes of sunlight. However, we have passed the winter solstice. Therefore, the days are getting longer. I played a show on the winter solstice. I think I mentioned it in the last video that I did. That went well. I did, like a couple weeks before the show, relapse in my alcohol consumption, which is not good. I'm trying to claw my way out of. I'm also trying to just the way that I talk, the way that I move, just be less affected. It's difficult because I see myself in my phone screen when I'm recording this, when I'm recording these, but it's I definitely don't talk exactly. Maybe I'm just overthinking it, but I just I want to appear smart and especially when I talk about the music, I want to appear insightful and knowledgeable. And I was thinking about this earlier, right after I took a shower. I was thinking about Joanna Newsom, and also a conversation that I had with a friend a couple days ago. About so there's a lot of stuff that kept popping into my head at the same time. So a couple days ago, I was talking to my friend, and I forgot how we got. Oh yeah, we were just talking about disinformation on the internet and Russian bots and shit like that. And I was talking about how he has this, not a fear, but in situations where he doesn't feel like he's knowledgeable enough about the subject that's being discussed, in a group, he just won't participate in the discussion. Not because he fears that people won't think he's smart or anything, just because he's afraid of spreading misinformation. Because there have been a couple situations in the past where he said something just because he heard it, and then somebody corrected him, and he just felt really bad that he could be he could be misinforming people. He's a very nice, very sweet, and very compassionate person. But a lot of sweet and compassionate people, sometimes he can be more compassionate to others than he is to himself. He can be hard on himself. But anyway, and so I was telling him that it's sometimes I pretend that, oh yeah, because he was mentioning that he had a friend that he really respected in this particular way, that his friend, anytime he didn't know a word, would just say, I don't know what that word is, what does it mean? And his friend was really smart. And so I told my friend that I had difficulty doing that, and that different situations, less now than when I was younger, but still happens, where I'll pretend to know what a word means, or I'll pretend to be more knowledgeable about a certain subject than I actually am. I'll pretend I understand what the other person's saying about a subject, which can be pretty easy to fake. I mean, most times, if you're having a discussion with friends or people you're friendly with, they're not going to quiz you to make sure that you understand what they're saying, or Anyway, and the reason why I do this is because I want people to think I'm smart and knowledgeable. Because when I was a kid, the ways I might have talked about this before, but the ways that I was able to get positive attention, because I got a lot of negative attention, because a lot of the time my behavior was something that was seen as problematic. Which I mean, some of it definitely was like I was very angry and I would go into like rages and I'd become violent. I would hit people, and that of course is like socially unacceptable, right? So I get negative attention for that. There's also periods where like my OCD was really intense and it was just disruptive and it would take a lot of time and energy for me definitely, but for others as well. But the positive attention that I got was people telling me that I was smart, and then also people telling me that I was creative. And so it makes sense to me now that a lot of the validation that I seek from other people is like in the form of being perceived as smart and having that validated, and then being perceived as being a good artist and having that validated, which played a show on December 21st. Which was good. It was really stressful beforehand. One of the contributing factors to the relapse, which is still currently ongoing. And I'm trying to. That's the thing that sucks about alcohol is you can't just stop. I mean, I would probably be fine. Like, it would be like a medical emergency if I just stopped, because I've been drinking that much. But it's still like the withdrawals are not fun. And so, like, yeah, small side note is all day I'm like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I want this to stop. But then a certain time comes, and then the craving happens, and it's like, I'd do anything to get alcohol. And then that contributes to more stress because, like, I can't afford it. I can't afford it. Like, the winter. Early winter months or like post holidays are notoriously very, very difficult time for people in my line of work. So, but anyway, back to the show, it was good, and I got a lot of really positive validation, especially from a coworker of mine that who told me like a couple days before that he's like, hey, I'm going to try to come to your show. And he's somebody that I respect a lot. And, like, I always have this fear that I'm going to be perceived as, just going to get very anxious. And when I'm anxious, I don't think as clearly or I react as quickly as I could if I weren't anxious. And so I've just got this fear that, like, people that I work with think that, like, I'm a nice guy and I work hard, but I'm sort of an idiot. Not an idiot, but I'm just not very smart. Because I make mistakes because I'm anxious. And often sleep deprived. And then for a long period until 4 months chunk recently, I was hungover every day. But he really enjoyed it and gave me some really, really good positive feedback. And he even said, like, the performance reminded him of Dan Deacon, which was a huge influence on the way that I perform. But the show did get progressively less and less good because I was getting drunker and drunker. And it did end up getting taking off my clothes. And then I felt sort of, for once I was uncomfortable because I was like, I sort of just like, I was like, is everybody okay with this? And I feel like I didn't really give people the time. I don't know. I wasn't completely naked. I was in my underwear. But, I know there's probably people that didn't want to see that. And yeah, there's this one other person who I had met because he was doing community theater, and he seemed like really stoked to come and see my show. When he was there, he seemed to have a really good time. And I really wanted to impress this guy because I thought he was cool. I still think he's cool, but anyway, I ended up having a conversation with him, and he was pretty drunk. And then I ended up doing a lot of like projection and like sort of like trying to like evangelize sobriety. Even going to the point, and I was drunk myself, where I was like implying that he should consider sobriety, which is like, what the fuck, man? But I understand now that I was just doing projection, and like I was feeling shame because of my relapse, and so I was just projecting that shame onto him. I mean, he'll be all right, but I just find it embarrassing that I was telling him that, which I don't actually believe. But also another stressful aspect was just moving. I moved. Moving with my friend Bob. And yesterday I did this thing which I haven't done. I didn't even do in the years. Okay, so I'm trying to see how much time I have left. I've been doing this for 11 minutes so far. I guess I won't go into it too much. It's just that my life has felt unstable for most of my life, and so I never totally unpack when I moved, because I moved around a lot, and I always, I guess, felt like I could never trust that there would be stability. And what I did yesterday is I put up art on the walls. It's not much. My room is still a huge mess, but I put up some posters, and I had already put up that and this and this. That print was the only thing that was up in my old room. Put up some art. This picture of Fiona Apple crying that I got in the Fetch the Bolt Cutters deluxe edition, which really sucked as a product, but it had this great picture of Fiona Apple crying. This drawing that Laurie Shaw mailed to me, which is great. I'm listening to a lot of Laurie Shaw. And then there's just a fucking mess. But the point is, I'm just trying to claw, this is really the way I want to say, just claw my way back out of this. I was getting really depressed, and I was having panic attacks. Maybe not panic attacks, anxiety attacks. To the point where I couldn't fucking move, right? And I put out this recording, but I made a recording while I was doing janitorial work the day that I relapsed, where I was I'm trying to talk my way out of this, but I'm gonna do it. I know I'm gonna do it. And essentially the argument was, and it makes sense, it's sad, but it just that starting to drink alcohol again was an irrational decision, but if you're a person that's in so much pain, like I was at that point, people in pain make irrational decisions. And that irrational decision becomes rational to just get some sort of relief from that pain. I was in a lot of pain. And so now the goal is to try to get medication. And get an appointment with a doctor, which is going to be possible, but it's not going to happen until after the holidays. So I'm going to call on January 2nd, so on Thursday. Try to get an appointment within the next couple weeks. To try to get on medication for my anxiety and possibly OCD. And I got this assessment done with a psychologist. Shout out to my sister who paid for it. Thank you very much. I've also suggested maybe, of course, I probably need to get a referral to see a psychiatrist, but maybe I know a doctor, just a general practitioner would prescribe SSRIs, but it's also, anyway, it doesn't really matter. But I am sort of afraid because stability, and also I'm probably going to continue therapy. The stability is something I'm looking for because my life is just unmanageable. However, with that stability, makes the troughs and peaks more compressed. But I'll miss the peaks. It's been 15 minutes. Okay. Today I'm thinking about Ryan Davis and the Roadhouse Band. Um, and specifically, their song Learn to Relove off of their only album, which I'm looking for the title of the album because I've Dancing on the Edge. I've listened to this album so many times over the past couple weeks, and but it's like I didn't even look at the title of the album that much just because I've just been listening to it a lot. I want to make music like this. I had this epiphany that the past like decade or so, I just wanted to make people dance, and I want to make people cry. I still want to make people dance, but I want to try something different. And this album is so fucking good. It's so good. It's so good. Oh man, I can't. It's just listen to it. I always recommended "Free from the Guillotine," which is the first track on the album on Spotify. It's like, this is pretty good. And I listened to the album. By the way, Ryan Davis and the Roadhouse Band is the most generic band name. The album art is really cool though. But the lyrics on this album are so good. It's got these long songs. It's very like reminds me a bit of Magnolia Electric Company, and yeah, which I love, which is one of my favorite bands of all time. But like less depressing, generally than most of Jason Molina's work. Sort of old country. Really, really good though. The arrangements are great. The lyrics are fantastic. I mean, like, in Learn to Relove, got the lyrics here. From yesterday's maps to tomorrow's blueprints, black light will find the jizz. Such a great line. Some other really good stuff. You're gonna have to learn to relove me in the context of the mess that's here. A hallmark erection from a kiss on the neck of a yesteryear. It's fantastic. There's lots of, not lots, like there's some key moments where there's like penis references that I think are really well done. I can easily get corny, but it's funny, but it's really, oh yeah, but then, okay, the next line, so hard-earned lessons were lost. Oh yeah, sorry, a hallmark erection from a kiss on the neck of a yesteryear. Hard-learned lessons were lost in the throes of the pace I kept. But you can't just leave me here and question playing got your nose with the face of death. It's so good, dude. And like in a lot of the songs, I forgot her name, but there's another musician that duets with him, just sings at the same time as Ryan Davis, and she's great. It sounds so good, their voices together. And then, please don't leave me here in question playing got your nose with the face of death. For the rivers of time will wash into your mind and replenish that which was wept, which is, like, it's so good. The moonlight will reclaim what's left. It's so good. And there's like, and okay, one thing I love so much about, shit, I gotta leave. One thing I love so much about this album is I love works of music that will reference other parts of the work. Like an album that will have songs that will reference other songs. And I mean, globally, like Jason Molina is a perfect example of somebody where he had a lot of recurring metaphors throughout his body of work. And so we could talk about, like, the dark, maps and compasses and owls and wolves. And the metaphor would stretch beyond the context of a single song. But there are two songs on this album called Bluebirds in a Fight and Bluebirds Revisited. So Bluebirds in a Fight is the sort of centerpiece of the album. And then Bluebirds Revisited is the final track. And I think Bluebirds Revisited is probably my favorite on the album, but yeah, these songs complete each other, and like Bluebirds Revisited resolves, and there's like wordplay that only makes sense in the context. It's hard for me to explain correctly, but it's so beautiful. So like yeah, of course, like the song is musically referential, but the lyrics as well, and like I mean, it's got some of my favorite lyrics on the album. I think I'll leave, but like. Dude, okay, so Bloopers Revisited. I don't want to make death rock anymore. I want to go where my alarm clock won't dare to come find me. I'll leave my road maps in a drawer and explore where the asphalt's still smeared with the deer of the 90s. Amazing. So good. Ah, man, and I won't ruin the other penis reference in that song. Very good penis reference. So later today, it's going to be the end of the year of 2024. I hope you have some good plans for tonight. Be it to go out, or stay cozy at home, where it's warm. It's going to peak at around 4 p.m., 6 degrees Celsius. Let's get to the Fahrenheit. 42 degrees Fahrenheit, and then go back, start coming back down, till finally the trough here around 9 p.m. It's going to be negative 1 degree Celsius. It's going to go back to freezing, 31 degrees Fahrenheit. At the end of the day, it's going to stabilize at a perfect 0 degrees Celsius, 32 degrees Fahrenheit to cap off this 2024. It's going to get cold again, but enjoy the warm weather. Well, unseasonably warm weather until then. Check out Ryan Davis and the Roadhouse Band. Ryan Davis was in some other bands before, including a band with Angel Olsen. Angel Olsen. I say Angel. It's not Angel. Angel Olsen played on one of his old band's albums. But yeah, check out Ryan Davis and the Roadhouse Band. Flashes of Orange is so good. Junk Drawer Heart. All the songs are great. It's perfect. I can't believe that this almost passed me by. All right, everyone, have a great New Year's Eve. Starting to feel hope again in life, and we're going to be able to make it out of this somehow. Have a great night. Happy New Year.